Hi guys, DK here from KaroroCAM. Today I'm going to be taking you through a 2D profiling workflow. I have here some 10mm high lettering that I'd like to cut out of a 10mm wood stock, and so we have the letters just under this cutout letters layer within Rhino. To get started, now I'll need to launch KaroroCAM and just wait for this to come up. And here we have the controls for KaroroCAM. We have a number of different types of toolpaths in here. We're going to be 2D profile cutting. If we go to our layers, we'll see that opening KaroroCAM has set up a number of layers within our Rhino environment, or our Rhino document. Under 2D cutting, we have inside curves and outside curves, and these are the geometries that we're going to need to actually cut these letters out are closed planar curves. So if we take this back to shaded view, we can see we have these are closed poly surfaces. We can create the curves we're looking for by going to Curve, From Object, Duplicate Face Border. And we can now just click through, selecting these top surfaces of our lettering. And pressing enter. With those curves created, I can turn off my lettering, and we can see that we have a layer for inside curves and a layer for outside curves. Inside curves will be cut to the inside of the line, outside curves will be cut to the outside of the line. So in this case, we can select the inner part of the A's and the O's and put those to the inside curves, and we can see immediately that KaroroCAM has started creating a toolpath for us. We can then grab the outside geometry, the outside curves, and put that to the outside curves layer. It's now a matter of working our way through the rest of the setup. So the first thing I'd like to do is go to my machine setup. If I turn on my lettering and click on it, the poly surface, and go to box edit, we're 10mm thick is our material, and the top surface of our letters are at 0. So we look here, our stock thickness in this setup is actually already 10mm, and our Z0 position is to the top of the stock. So that is this position here. So that's excellent. That's all. That all matches up with our requirements. I'm going to go back to toolpath, turn off our lettering, and I will like to use climb milling on this particular job. So I'm going to select that. The tolerance setting is a setting on how KaroroCAM will convert curves curves to machinable poly curves or polylines. If we change this to 1, you can see, and this tolerance is the maximum distance between the curve and what the polyline is produced. And you can see here that we're at 1, we're very low resolution. For my particular machine, 0.01 is a good compromise between size of the final file and the quality of the cut. You can then come down here. You have the ability to change to different end mills, but typically, or different types of milling bits. Typically, for a 2D profile cut, a flat end mill would be required. I would like to do this with a 6mm tool bit, and my machine does not have a tool changer, so I don't need to change the tool number here, and 24,000 RPM is standard on my machine, so we'll just leave all of that. Stock to leave would be if we wanted to leave a little bit of excess material outside of the curve. We could set to that to say 5. Stock to leave 5, and you can see that that offsets further out. But we don't need to leave any offset for this particular job, so I'll just leave that at 0. Now the cutting depth position, we're currently set to stock bottom, which is our 0 is at the top of the stock, and we're machining to 10mm deep. If we do not have the offset I actually put in there. So we look at this green curve from the front, that is to the bottom of our stock. So we also have the option to set that to the selected curves, which is in this case they're sitting on our 0 plane, so that would be to the top of the stock, which would also be the same at the top of the stock. We could reference to the top of the stock and put in -10, and that would actually bring our cutting depth back down to the same as the bottom of the stock. But we'll leave it at stock bottom and with no offset. Now we will need to do multiple depth cuts with this 6mm bit. We won't be able to cut to this 10mm deep in wood in one hit. So I'm going to use multiple depths, and we're going to set this to 3mm. This sort of slotting half the diameter of the bit is usually a good rule of thumb. And again, check from our front view. We can see we're starting from the top. Our first cut's 3mm, our next cut's 6mm, then we have a 9mm cut, and then the final one at the 10mm. And then finally, it's always a good idea to use a little bit of ramping to allow smooth engagement of the tool into the stock. So I'm going to turn on my ramping, and 15 degrees seems to be fine with all of this geometry. If we put that, say, down to 3 degrees, if the ramping is excessively long and can't fit within the geometry, KaroroCAM will come up with a warning like this. We can simply go in, change that back to our 15 degrees, and we still have a valid toolpath. Right, I think that is us all set up and ready to do this particular job. We need to go to, it's always a good idea at this stage to go to preview, and we have a mock-up of a CNC router in here with our 6mm bit, and if we simply uncheck the pause, we can watch this machining, and we're machining the inside curves first. And then the outside curves. I might want to change this to actually do by Z depth rather than machine complete letters. I'm going to go back to toolpaths, and under multiple depths there's order cuts by Z depth. If I select this, you'll see there's a few more rapid movements, but if we go back to our preview and restart, we can see we're just doing a first 3mm deep cut on all of the letters, and then back to the A, and we're now doing the 6mm deep cut. Depending on your requirements, this may be a more appropriate toolpath. So I'm going to pause that, reset it, go back to toolpath. I think we're all ready to go. We can scroll down here and hit post-process 2D profile. And my particular machine runs a rich auto DSP controller, so that's the post processor I'm going to select. Now if we hit save G-code file, we'll have this dialog come up, and it adds there's a pre-generated save file, but we can call it anything we like by typing it in here. Simply a matter of hitting save. Now the licensed version of KaroroCAM will be able to export G-code, and it will come back telling you how long your particular license has left to expire. I think all we need to do now is have a look at the final G-code, which I'll just open a notepad here. That all looks quite reasonable. So here, back to rendered, check our lettering. So there we go, guys. That's how to do 2D profile cutting in KaroroCAM for Rhino. Thank you for listening.